Well, some of you might recognise the area I'm cycling round at the moment. It was in a video I did a few weeks back, and I'm on my way back to St Helen Church, which was also in the same video. I'll explain why when we get to the church. But at the moment, rather than watching me, just have a look at the scenery around here. I doubt if it's changed much in the last 100 years, so you can probably imagine what it would have been like in the late Victorian period, the late 1890s. I'll leave you to enjoy the scenery, and I'll come back to you in a few moments. Now, if you see the green building at this distance, the couple of buildings to the right of that are part of Townley Brow Farm. One used to be the barn, the other one used to be the farmhouse, and they actually come into the story later on as we carry on looking at the scenery. It's another nice warm day around here. Now, the church is actually to the left here, but I'm going to head a slight diversion up to the right so that you can have a closer look at Townley Brow Farm and the view people living there in the 1890s would have had over the fields. So it's the couple of buildings just after this green one on the left hand side. The first one is the barn conversion. So that's the barn conversion we're passing now. And the next one would have been the farmhouse, obviously modernised in the last 100 years. But that's the kind of view that the people living there have had there for the last few hundred years. I don't know when the initial farm was built. So we're carrying up the road for a few hundred yards, and then we'll turn around and head back to St Helen's Church, and I'll start telling you the reason why we're going back to St Helen's Church. See you in a bit. Well, we're back at St Helen's Church in Hollinsfare. Come to another look round the graveyard here. I like looking at the headstones. It's sometimes the only reminder we've got of people who's lived in the past. I know nowadays we've got census records and more modern film recordings like this, but the older ones, all you've got is possibly a name and the date they were alive on some of the headstones. And if you look at St George's Church in Tilsley, a few years back I recorded the headstones there. church itself was built in 1825. You probably remember from one of my early videos that it's one of the Waterloo churches, and it carried on burying people in the graveyard till about 1938. Over 6,500 burials in that time, and I would say 2,800 or more were children under 10 years old. That's 42%. Anyway, like I say, I recorded the headstones. There was 362 headstones, which gave me a list of just over 1,100 names. So 1,100 names out of the 6,500 what we buried there. And out of them 6,500, I probably know details of about half a dozen, 6, maybe 10 of them, and that includes Richard Halliwell, the dentist from Tilsley. Anyway, when I was looking for St Helen, I found out that there was actually 7 Commonwealth War Graves in the churchyard. We only found 2 last time, so I've decided to come back and see if I can find the other 5. I've also done a bit of research on those 5 as well. There's not much details, obviously, dying in wartime. There weren't much details released around their death, but I'll try and tell you what I found out as well about each one, if I can find the headstones. So let's go and have a look. Now, in the last video I mentioned a headstone with angel wings and a cross. When I reviewed the video, it didn't actually show up so good, so I've come back to the headstone. Here it is, George Whitfield. So it's an unusual headstone. So we'll start off with Simon Annis, Fusilier, 2nd Battalion of the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers, died 16th of August 2009. Like I said, there's not much details about most of these soldiers who died, but he was part of a protection squad for a bomb disposal expert. Unfortunately, the bomb disposal expert, Lance Corporal Fullerton, was injured. Simon Annis and another soldier were acting as stretcher bearers, taking him to the helicopter to get him to medical assistance, when they were caught in another explosion, another IED, and subsequently lost his life. Died in August. He was actually went out to Afghanistan in about May that year, and he had been married about 4 weeks before he went out. So Simon Annis, 2nd Battalion of the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers. Well, the next one is Captain Leslie Hilton. I'll spin the camera round, you can see the headstone there. It's not a Commonwealth War Grave headstone, it's a family headstone, but Captain Leslie Herbert Hilton, aged 32, died on the 26th of June 1944. He was part of the Army Dental Unit, and pretty much all we know about him was that he was the son of Herbert and Lillian Hilton, husband of Queenie Elizabeth Hilton, and lived at Cadshead. And on there it says he was part of the field ambulance. So that is Captain Leslie Herbert Hilton, aged 32, died 26th of June 1944. So as we move along, we now have Harry Simpson, signalman of the 6th Airborne Division. Like I said, there wasn't much I could find out about him. He started with the East Sussex Regiment and moved to the West Kent Regiment before finally joining the 6th Airborne. and it says he was accidentally killed on the 17th of December 1943. There was actually 6 killed on that day from the 6th Airborne. So Harry Simpson, Royal Signals, the 6th Airborne. And the next one is James Newton of the 51st Heavy Anti-Aircraft Regiment. Died aged 19 on the 25th of January 1947. Son of John Alfred and Gladys Newton of Brixton with Glazebrook, and the headstone is actually laid down on the family grave here. And we move on now to John Killen, Flight Sergeant, Air Gunner, Royal Air Force. Died on the 17th of December 1943. Part of a crew of a Lancaster, and the crew went over to Germany to obviously bomb Berlin area. On the way back they were caught with dense fog, and the day became known with the Royal Air Force as a Black Thursday. But, and in fact Bomber Command 97 Squadron he was in, losing some 8 aircrafts and 36 aircrew killed. The tragedy was that 7 of the 8 actually crashed on landing. Only 1 actually was shot down during the mission. And basically the story goes that after taking off about 5 PM and completing the operation, his plane crashed at Haley Wood about just after midnight. Haley Wood is just south of Gransden Lodge, and he was actually based at RAF Bourne. I forgot to tell you that, Bourne in Cambridgeshire. The crew itself consisted of Pilot Officer Kirkwood, Flight Engineer Hubbard, Navigator Stewart, Bomber Wigley, and also George Cleve, Gunner Madeley, and John Killen was the rear gunner. Well, we're back with the headstone of John Madden, which we saw last time at St Helen Church. Private John Madden was with the 6th Reserve Battalion Manchester Regiment, and he was on guard duty at Earlham Lock and was reported missing, feared drowned. It is believed he had missed his footing and fell into Manchester Ship Canal during a thick fog on the 17th of November 1915. His body was found on the 16th of December 1915, being recovered from that ship canal. Not much is known about John Madden. He was 53-year-old, unmarried, and had lived in Manchester, and is believed to have been born in Ireland in about 1862. So this is John Madden, Manchester Regiment, died 16th of December 1915. I've actually left this headstone till last because I did manage to find out quite a bit about Lieutenant Edward Atherton. Remember, we took a little bit of a detour earlier on so we could go past a farm called Townley Brow Farm. Well, that's where Edward Atherton was brought up. Born about 1896, I think it was. And the area I don't think has changed much around here. The house has been modernised, but the farmers' fields are still here. Edward actually went working for a company called the British Engineering Boiler and Electrical Company Limited in Manchester, but he joined up before the First World War started. So So he's joined up. He was sent out to Egypt in 1914. He then ended up in Gallipoli in May 1915. He was still in Gallipoli in December 1915, January 1916, when they evacuated the peninsula, weren't it, Gallipoli, and then got sent to France in 1917. Like I say, he started before he joined up before the war started, so he's doing well to survive that long. And in 1917 he rose to the rank of colour sergeant before being commissioned to the Machine Gun Corps. In 1918, April 1918, he was awarded the Military Cross for gallantry at Festubert, and he was made lieutenant in November 1918. So you're thinking he got to the end of the war. The armistice, obviously the 11th of November 1918. He did. He actually died on the 18th of February 1919. And he died from the effect of septic pneumonia. His death occurred about 3 weeks after an operation to his ear. So he joined up before the war started, went through Egypt, Gallipoli, France, and survived all of the First World War, unfortunately to die at the age of 26 of septic pneumonia. So that is Lieutenant Edward Allerton, MC, Military Cross. So off I go again, heading for my breakfast at the local train station, and we'll see what we can find along the way.